4. Place: the Kali temple at Dakshineshwar and the Alam Bazar Mutt. Year 1897, March. When Swamiji returned from England for the first time, the Ramakrishna Mutt was located at Alam Bazar. The birthday anniversary of Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna was being celebrated this year at the Kali temple of Rani Rasmani at Dakshineshwar. Swamiji with some of his brother disciples reached there from the Alam Bazar Mutt at about 9 or 10 a.m. He was barefooted with a yellow turban on his head. Crowds of people were waiting to see and hear him. In the temple of Mother Kali, Swamiji prostrated himself before the Mother of the Universe, and thousands of heads, following him, bent low. Then after prostrating himself before Radha Kantaji, he came into the room which Sri Ramakrishna used to occupy. There was not the least breathing space in the room. 2 European ladies who accompanied Swamiji to India attended the festival. Swamiji took them along with himself to show them the holy Panchavati and the Vilva tree. Though the disciple was not yet quite familiar with Swamiji, he followed him and presented him with the copy of a Sanskrit ode about the Utsava celebration composed by himself. Swamiji read it while walking towards the Panchavati, and on the way he once looked aside towards the disciple and said, "Yes, it's done well. Attempt others like it." The householder devotees of Sri Ramakrishna happened to be assembled on one side of the Panchavati, among whom was Babu Girish Chandra Ghosh. Swamiji, accompanied by a throng, came to Girish Babu and saluted him, saying, "Hello, here is Mr. Ghosh." Girish Babu returned his salutation with folded hands. Reminding Girish Babu of the old days, Swamiji said, "Think of it, Mr. Ghosh, from those days to these, what a transition." Girish Babu endorsed Swamiji's sentiment and said, "Yes, that is true, but yet the mind longs to see more of it." After a short conversation, Swamiji proceeded towards the Vilva tree situated on the northeast of the Panchavati. Now a huge crowd stood in keen expectancy to hear a lecture from Swamiji. But though he tried his utmost, Swamiji could not speak louder than the noise and clamour of the people. Hence he had to give up attempting a lecture and left with the 2 European ladies to show them sites connected with Sri Ramakrishna's spiritual practices and introduce them to particular devotees and followers of the Master. After 3 p.m., Swamiji said to the disciple, "Fetch me a cab, please. I must go to the mutt now." The disciple brought one accordingly. Swamiji himself sat on one side and asked Swami Niranjanananda and the disciple to sit on the other, and they drove towards the Alam Bazar Mutt. On the way, Swamiji said to the disciple, "It won't do to live on abstract ideas merely. These festivals and the like are also necessary, for then only these ideas will spread gradually among the masses. You see, the Hindus have got their festivals throughout the year, and the secret of it is to infuse the great ideals of religion gradually into the minds of the people. It has also its drawback though, for people in general miss their inner significance and become so much engrossed in externals that no sooner are these festivities over than they become their old selves again. Hence it is true that all these form the outer covering of religion, which in a way hide real spirituality and self-knowledge. But there are those who cannot at all understand in the abstract what religion is or what the self is, and they try to realize spirituality gradually through these festivals and ceremonies. Just take this festival celebrated today. Those that attended it will at least once think of Sri Ramakrishna. The thought will occur to their mind as to who he was, in whose name such a great crowd assembled, and why so many people came at all in his name. And those who will not feel that much even will come once in a year to see all the devotional dancing and singing, or at least to partake of the sacred food offerings, and will also have a look at the devotees of Sri Ramakrishna. This will rather benefit them than do any harm. Disciple: But sir, suppose somebody thinks these festivals and ceremonies to be the only thing essential, can he possibly advance any further? They will gradually come down to the level of commonplace observances, like the worship in our country of the goddesses Shashti, Mangala, Chandi and the like. People are found to observe these rites till death. But where do we find even one among them rising through such observances to the knowledge of Brahman? Swamiji: Why, in India so many spiritual heroes were born, and did they not make them the means of scaling the heights of greatness? When by persevering in practice through these props they gained a vision of the self, they ceased to be keen on them. Yet, for the preservation of social balance, even great men of the type of incarnations follow these observances. Disciple: Yes, they may observe these for appearance only, but when to a knower of the self even this world itself becomes unreal like magic, is it possible for him to recognize these external observances as true? Swamiji: Why not? Is not our idea of truth also a relative one, varying in relation to time, place, and person? Hence, all observances have their utility, relatively to the varying qualifications in men. It is just as Sri Ramakrishna used to say, that the mother cooks pulao and kalya, rich dishes, for one son, and sago for another. Now the disciple understood at last and kept quiet. Meanwhile, the carriage arrived at the Alambazar mutt. The disciple followed Swamiji into the mutt, where Swamiji, being thirsty, drank some water. Then, putting off his coat, he rested recumbent on the blanket spread on the floor. Swami Niranjanananda, seated by his side, said, "We never had such a great crowd in any year's Utsava before, as if the whole of Calcutta flocked there." Swamiji: It was quite natural. Stranger things will happen hereafter. Disciple: Sir, in every religious sect are found to exist external festivals of some kind or other, but there is no amity between one sect and another in this matter. Even in the case of such a liberal religion as that of Muhammad, I have found in Dhaka that the Shias and Sunnis go to loggerheads with each other. Swamiji: That is incidental more or less wherever you have sects. But do you know what the ruling sentiment amongst us is? Non-sectarianism. Our Lord was born to point that out. He would accept all forms, but would say withal that, looked at from the standpoint of the knowledge of Brahman, they were only like illusory Maya. Disciple: Sir, I can't understand your point. Sometimes it seems to me that by thus celebrating these festivals, you are also inaugurating another sect round the name of Sri Ramakrishna. I have heard it from the lips of Nag Mahashaya that Sri Ramakrishna did not belong to any sect. He used to pay great respect to all creeds such as the Shaktas, the Vaishnavas, the Brahmos, the Mohammedans, and the Christians. Swamiji: How do you know that we do not also hold in great esteem all the religious creeds? So saying, Swamiji called out in evident amusement to Swami Niranjanananda, "Just think what this Bengal is saying." Disciple: Kindly make me understand, sir, what you mean. Swamiji: Well, you have, to be sure, read my lectures. But where have I built on Sri Ramakrishna's name? It is only the pure Upanishadic religion that I have gone about preaching in the world. Disciple: That's true indeed, but what I find by being familiar with you is that you have surrendered yourself, body and soul, to Ramakrishna. If you have understood Sri Ramakrishna to be the Lord himself, why not give it out to the people at large? Swamiji: Well, I do preach what I have understood, and if you have found the Advaitic principles of Vedanta to be the truest religion, then why don't you go out and preach it to all men? Disciple: But I must realize before I can preach it to others. I have only studied Advaitism in books. Swamiji: Good. Realize first and then preach. Now, therefore, you have no right to say anything of the beliefs each man tries to live by, for you also proceed now by merely putting your faith on some such beliefs. Disciple: True, I am also living now by believing in something, but I have the Shastras for my authority. I do not accept any faith opposed to the Shastras. Swamiji: What do you mean by the Shastras? If the Upanishads are authority, why not the Bible or the Zend-Avesta equally so? Disciple: Granted, these scriptures are also good authority. They are not, however, as old as the Vedas. And nowhere, moreover, is the theory of the Atman better established than in the Vedas. Swamiji: Supposing I admit that contention of yours, what right have you to maintain that truth can be found nowhere except in the Vedas? Disciple: Yes, truth may also exist in all the scriptures other than the Vedas, and I don't say anything to the contrary. But as for me, I choose to abide by the teachings of the Upanishads, for I have very great faith in them. Swamiji: Quite welcome to do that. But if somebody else has very great faith in any other set of doctrines, surely you should allow him to abide by that. You will discover that in the long run, both he and yourself will arrive at the same goal. For haven't you read in the Mahimna Stotram, Tvamasi payasa marnava iva. Thou art as the ocean to the rivers falling into it.